Welcome to this week's episode. Today we're talking about 3 necessary elements of an aviation website.
Great.
Yeah. These are important.
Evidently, or we wouldn't be talking about it.
Exactly. And it's been driving me crazy lately how many things are going, people don't understand this. So we thought we would do a public service announcement, right?
Great.
Exactly. Okay. And of course,
Hopefully the public really feels service out of that.
hopefully. Right. So this episode is being brought to you by our ABCI website refresh. And of course, we do websites. And so this is our business. So we're probably a little more sensitive than most people about people spending money on things that aren't serving them. It frankly makes the entire industry look bad. And
we just won't do it.
Right. Exactly.
In fact, we've turned somebody down recently because they didn't want to follow through.
Right, exactly.
So
it takes more than just a website.
Exactly.
Okay. So our aviation website refresh service, if you order it before March 31st of 2020, you get 3 free videos. So that will make it a lot more updated, a lot more modern, a lot more interactive, and a lot of those kinds of things. So you can use those 3 videos for your website. You can use them for social media, whatever your marketing situation requires.
And since Google is
rewarding video nowadays,
these days, that would be a good thing.
Exactly. So we're kind of doing this to help give you a boost. When you launch a new website, you also want to make sure that Google notices it. So
Exactly.
having things in as many different formats as you possibly can will help with that.
People don't realize the website all by itself sticking out there doesn't do a whole lot with respect to Google, and they're 70% of the U.S. traffic. So there are other things that have to be done in a succeeding 90 to 180 days that
Right.
we're willing and able to do, but they don't come free.
Right. There's actually several podcasts that we've done on search engine optimization, and that's not what we're talking about today.
Nope.
What we're talking about today is the website itself, what people expect to see when they get there, and how it works and how it interacts with everything else. So, what is your website supposed to do in 2020?
I don't know. I'd guess the same thing it did last year.
I think even more so. Your website is probably the biggest piece of marketing real estate that you own. Even if you do a lot of trade shows, even if you buy a lot of magazine ads, even if you do a lot of social media, all of those things are kind of on other people's turf. But the real estate that you own yourself and you control yourself is your website. You control everything there is about that. There's no other advertising right next to it. You don't have to worry about who's in the booth next door to you. You don't have to worry about, the social media changing their rules, any of that.
And it's not a do it once and set and forget. One of our clients has been in the business for a bunch of years and been with us a long time, and they got to the point where they needed a website refresh, and they had people call them in and said, "Are you guys still in business? Your website hasn't changed."
Right, exactly. But just about every marketing activity that you do nowadays, all roads lead back to your website. So you go to a trade show and you say, look this up on our website or connect with us on our website. You give people a business card when you're at a trade show and it has your website address on it.
True.
They see a magazine ad for more information, visit us online. If you post on social media, a lot of those posts are going to have links back to your website where they can go for more information.
And if you actually lose business letterhead, it'd be on there too.
Right? Google, when people look up a keyword on Google, like somebody found me today that was looking for aviation FBO marketing.
Great.
And yesterday someone found us looking for broker sales training. So those are 2 things that they looked up. They weren't looking for ABCI. They didn't know we exist yet, unfortunately. But
There's
for
a
whatever
problem,
reason.
sounds to me like.
Exactly. But they did know they needed broker sales training, and they did know that they needed marketing for their FBO. So those were the things that they were looking for on Google and ended up at our website. Whenever you send an email, It
True.
usually has a link in there to your website. For more information, see our website.
Or should.
Whenever you send a postcard, there's only so much you can put on a postcard, but then you can lead them to a video or lead them to the next step in your sales process, usually on your website. So that being said, the old saying, all roads lead to Rome.
At least to your website.
Right. During the Roman Empire, it was Rome. In 2020, it is your website that all roads lead to, right? Okay. So all of that being said, there's some pretty high expectations on that poor little website, right?
True.
Okay. So 3 key elements, 3 things that we expect your website to do are to be relevant, current, and stable. And we're going to talk about each of these things.
That seems fairly basic, but most people don't realize the necessity of those 3.
Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
True.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about relevant. A lot of websites that we see are about the company. They talk about the history of the company, the founder of the company, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
These 2 people that I talked to in the last couple of days, they'd never heard of ABCI, they'd never heard of us.
And didn't care.
Astounding.
Well, true. However.
They knew what they wanted and they knew what they were looking for, but they didn't know or care about ABCI. They didn't care about Paula Williams. They didn't care about John Williams. The nerve, right?
Exactly.
But what they care about is
Marketing their company.
Exactly. So it really should be about your customers and what they want or need. The reason that they're looking for you. What is the problem that they're having at the moment, right?
And how can you solve it for them?
Exactly.
Or with them?
Right. So most charter companies, I want you to picture in your mind the website of a charter company. What is the first thing you're going to see?
I have no idea.
An airplane?
Probably.
Right? And pictures of maybe people who founded this charter company?
Probably.
Okay. SSC has taken a completely different tack because they know that people who are coming to them for charter services, to them, charter is a means to an end, right? And what is that end? They want to be on this beach, right? With their family, enjoying some time off, or they want to be at a business location faster and less with less hassle than going through the airline security lines and all that. So they know that charter is a means to an end, and their website reflects that. So if your business is a means to an end to your customer, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, right?
No, not at all.
But, for us, it's about more sales. The first thing you see on our website is we help aviation companies sell more
Stuff.
of their products and services.
Yeah, actually, that's right.
Okay, so it's about your customers, it's not about you. So that's what we mean by relevant, right?
Okay.
Okay, so if your website is about you, stop right now.
And rethink.
And rethink. Okay. Now let's talk about current. Why is it important for your website to be current?
Well, because people that come back after they come back and look at your site after a few years, a few months.
Nothing's different?
If nothing's different in this day and age, it means it's either stale or maybe you're not in business anymore.
Right. Or, if you get on somebody's airplane and it looks like it has not been properly maintained, you're going to feel kind of weird, especially, you may only see the cabin, but you're going to see, has it been kept up? Have they been making repairs of the cabin? Have they been fixing the hole in the carpet? Have they been cleaning the armrests? All of those things. If not, it makes you wonder, how are they running their business, right? Okay, it's the same thing with your website. If you're not keeping it up and you're not scrubbing those armrests and you're not updating the information and the look and feel of your website, people may wonder, how seriously are you taking your business? And one thing that people often look for, even if it's subconscious, is, do you have photos that are clearly outdated? Where people are using cell phones the size of bricks, or where they're showing your office with the old luggable computers or something like that. You want to look through that and make sure that it looks like something is happening at your business.
And treat it like a billboard. I mean, you drive down the road and you see billboards that are torn and faded. wind blown,
Right.
and you don't care about those. You don't even look at them.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so we talked about relevant, we talked about current. Third thing is
Stability.
stable, right? And this is the most important thing. If your website is intermittent, then it is not going to be serving you very well, and it also doesn't reflect well on your company that you don't run a tight ship and keep your systems in order and other things like that. So if your website goes down, all of those other marketing activities that you've been doing and that you've invested money in, you just paid a ton of money for a magazine ad, but your website is down.
And so they go there and they can't find it.
Then a lot of the people that have seen your magazine ad may not take the next step in your sales process.
Exactly.
If your website's down. So it's like a broken bridge, between the thing you bought and the thing that you want them to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So typically what happens when your website goes down, if you're working with a lot of the, shall we say, traditional or less expensive hosting companies, so your website is on the fritz, right?
Yeah.
And you're frantic, and it may be 2 in the afternoon.
They said that you can host with us for $5 a month.
Right. And so you're frantic, and you've just paid a lot of money for a magazine ad. You've got people who are telling you they can't find you online. This is kind of a big deal, whether it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time of the day it is, and you have to stop everything in your business, get on the phone with these people, and talk to somebody that may or may not be able to help you, right? And that you may or may not understand. And to be honest, you shouldn't even notice when your website goes out. Your website hosting company should be on top of that and receive an alert and tell you what happened.
That's right. And after the fact, because they should have already resolved it and got it back up and running.
Exactly. So that's the ideal, and that's really what we strive for. And the way that we do that is to actually have a human being, and in some cases that is actually yours truly, who is on call, to listen for those alerts. We don't get very many of them because the platforms that we're using are really stable. Mm-hmm. That's out of self-defense. It's maybe once out every couple of weeks that we get a notification that there's a blip on a website, either a slow or a not loading website for more than a minute. We get an automated notification, and whoever is on call jumps on it and takes care of it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, we're the ones who are worrying about that and sweating about it, and then we send you a notice and say, your website was down for about 15 minutes this afternoon or at 3 o'clock in the morning, and here's why, and here's what we did about it, and here's how we're going to prevent that from happening again.
Right.
So, depending on how complex your website is and how many systems it's connected to, something needs to be done to fix that. And in some cases, it's not your web host's problem, so you're going to end up with a lot of finger pointing back and forth and side to side.
Yes.
So having a human being who's in charge of that process is really important.
Yep. With us, you have one throat to choke.
That's nice. Exactly. But you have one person who is on the hook and who takes and who knows how important your marketing is to your business, because we're sitting here lecturing about it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So there is a checklist that we put together of things to look for in a website service provider, and you can get that from our website. Our website is up and running when you're watching this podcast.
Dang well better be.
Right. So if you just search for website service provider checklist or go to tip sheets at the top of our website, then you'll see all of the tip sheets that we have, this website service provider checklist. If you're shopping, and granted, we are not the least expensive option on the market.
No.
And some people who can't afford us yet have to do something other than us, and we totally get that. Mm-hmm. But you do want to make sure that you use that checklist and get the best option for you.
Yeah, because in fact, we've changed hosting services a few times over time. Mm-hmm. And now we have one who's got us over 90 days. We're at 100% uptime, I think. Mm-hmm. And our load time is reduced from a little over 4 seconds down to 1, give or take.
Right. So you're looking for speed, you're looking for stability above all, and all of those things are important. But if it's not stable, then almost everything else you do becomes less effective, and anything else that you invest in or work so hard for is going to be a lot less effective.
Yep.
Okay, so this episode this episode has been brought to you by our ABCI website refresh. And once again, you can get 3 free videos when you order your website refresh before March 31st of 2020. And we know it sometimes takes a little while to decide, do we want to refresh our website this year? If we've been thinking about it for a while, now's a really good time so that you can get that extra bonus, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So go sell more stuff.
America needs the business, and that's a Zig Ziglar quote, and he's exactly correct, and it's still functional.
Absolutely. Some things never change, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.